Please subscribe to this channel for more videos related to Catholic Christian teaching. Seven grades of holy orders are usually listed. 4 minor orders, namely those of porter, lector, exorcist, and acolyte, and 3 major orders, namely those of subdeacon, deacon, and priest. The last mentioned includes the presbyterate and the episcopate. The first time that all 7 grades of holy orders are mentioned is in a letter of Pope St. Cornelius to Bishop Fabius of Antioch on the relationship of the individual grades of holy orders to the Holy Eucharist. The 4 minor orders and the subdiaconate are not sacraments, but merely sacramentals. The Decretum pro Armenes, which follows the teaching of St. Thomas and of most of the scholastics, cannot be adduced as a decisive counterproof, as the Decretum is not an infallible doctrinal decision. The Ecumenical Council of Florence provided the last great opportunity to close the gap separating Eastern from Western Christendom. It marked the first occasion in centuries that East and West assembled in an ecumenical council to debate the differences separating their churches. Pope Eugenius IV wrote directly to the Armenian Catholicos Constantine VI and invited him personally to the Union Council. What was transmitted to us is the Decretum pro Armenes, released on the 22nd of November 1439. The historiography of the Catholic Church recognizes that the union between the Catholic and Greek Orthodox churches, which was achieved in Florence, has had no consequences because of the fall of Constantinople in 1453. The Council of Trent took no position on the question. The Apostolic Constitution Sacramentum Ordinis of Pius XII obviously favors the view that only the orders of diaconate, priesthood, and episcopate are the stages of sacramental consecration, as only those 3 are mentioned. Sententia communis refers to popular beliefs below the sententia certa in the hierarchy of dogmatic beliefs. They are widely held and generally accepted by theologians, but not dogmatically asserted. Examples of sententia communis beliefs include the saints in heaven can help the souls in purgatory by intercession. Dead people cannot receive sacraments. However, more modern commentators have noted that beliefs like these should potentially be classified at a higher level in the light of the Pope John Paul II's apostolic letter Ad Tuendam Fidem. The minor orders and the subdiaconate are not of divine institution, but were only gradually introduced because of particular needs of the Church. The lectorate is first attested to by Tertullian, the subdiaconate by St. Hippolytus of Rome, all the minor orders by Pope St. Cornelius, The Greek Church knows only two minor orders, the lectorate and subdiaconate. The rite of ordination for porter, lector, exorcist, and subdeacon does not include the imposition of hands. This apostolic letter changes these minor orders to ministries within the Latin Rite. The ordination of priests is a sacrament. The sacramental nature of the ordination of priests is implicitly expressed in the definition of the Council of Trent, that ordo is a true and proper sacrament. Since at the time of the Council of Trent there was no unanimity as to the sacramental nature of the ordination of bishops and deacons, the definition must refer at least to the ordination of priests, whose sacramental nature was never contested. The Apostolic Constitution, Sacramentum Ordinis of Pius XII, teaches that not only the consecration of priests, but also the consecration of deacons and bishops has a true sacramental nature, since it determines exactly the matter and form for each of these grades of ordination. The rite of ordination leaves no doubt as to the sacramental nature of the consecration of priests, since it consists in the imposition of hands and the prayer, which asks the grace of the Holy Spirit descend upon those being ordained. The ordination of a bishop is a sacrament. The Council of Trent declares that the bishops, as successors of the apostles, belong by excellence to the hierarchical state, and that the bishops at ordination do not pronounce in vain the word, receive the Holy Spirit. The Apostolic Constitution Sacramentum Ordinis of Pius XII presupposes the sacramental nature of the consecration of bishops. The Second Vatican Council explicitly teaches, by episcopal ordination, the fullness of the Sacrament of Holy Orders is conferred. Two scriptural passages. In 2 Timothy chapter 1, "For this reason I remind you to rekindle the gift of God that is within you through the laying on of my hands." And 1 Timothy chapter 4, "Do not neglect the gift that is in you, which was given to you through prophecy, with the laying on of hands by the council of elders." Refer immediately to the ordination of a bishop. The conferral takes place with imposition of hands and prayer. Bishops are superior to priests. The superiority of bishops were contested in Christian antiquity by Arius of Sebaste, in the Middle Ages by Marsilius of Padua, and by the Wycliffites and the Hussites, and at the beginning of modern times by the Reformers. The Council of Trent defied against the reformers. If anyone says bishops are not superior to priests, let him be anathema. The preeminence of the bishops refers both to the power of jurisdiction and to the power of consecration. Preeminence in the power of consecration consists in that the bishops alone have the power as ordinary ministers to ordain and to confirm. Wycliffites are followers of John Wycliffe, who is a priest and a seminary professor at the University of Oxford. He became an influential dissident within the Catholic priesthood during the 14th century. He is considered an important predecessor to Protestantism. Hutzites are the followers of the Bohemian religious reformer Jan Hus, who was condemned by the Council of Constance. A league was formed by certain lords who pledged themselves to protect the free preaching of the gospel upon all their estates and to obey the power of the bishops only where their orders accorded with the injunctions of the Bible. The question whether the preeminence of the bishops to the presbyters in regard to the power of jurisdiction and the power of consecration is an institution by Christ directly or by the Church, that is, by divine or church law, was not decided by the Council of Trent. Tradition proves the preeminence of the bishops without doubt, but does not provide a clear answer to the question of the nature of this law. St. Jerome states that there was no difference between the bishops and presbyters originally. From that time on, the conferring of orders became a privilege of the bishops. St. Jerome's view was shared by St. Isidore of Seville and many other medieval canonists. Of the scholastic theologians, it is John Duns Scotus who gives it a certain probability. Most of the other theologians reject it and teach, together with St. Thomas, that the difference between bishops and presbyters existed from the beginning through a direct institution of Christ. Ordination to the diaconate is a sacrament. The Apostolic Constitution Sacramentum Ordinis of Pius XII presupposes the sacramental nature of the order of diaconate. This was previously almost universally taught by theologians. Tradition sees the institution of diaconate in Acts chapter 6. They had these men stand before the apostles, who prayed and laid their hands on them. The rite of ordination consists essentially in the imposition of hands and in the prayer for the grace of the Holy Spirit. The diaconate, presbyterate, and episcopate are sacramental grades of holy orders. They are not three distinct sacraments, but conjointly form the one sacrament of holy orders. The priestly power is found in its complete fullness in the episcopate. in a lower grade of perfection in the presbyterate. The lowest grade of participation in the priestly power is found in the diaconate. Please go to YouTube Retirementality channel, playlist, Sacraments for the complete series of these materials.